Hi, I'm Tim Tuller, canon for music at St. John's Cathedral, with a couple words about the music for this coming Sunday, September 28th. This Sunday we'll actually be celebrating the feast of St. Michael and all angels at our services. This is sometimes also referred to as Michaelmas, and it starts basically traditionally as the start of the fall season in the church calendar. Our prelude this Sunday is going to be a piece entitled Voluntary on Shades Mountain by the Birmingham, Alabama composer Kaylee Scott. I actually knew Kaylee Scott personally when I lived in Alabama from 2003 to 2007, and I did some recordings with him. He's a really, really nice guy. He was born in 1950, and he's still active today. Shades Mountain actually refers to a hymn tune that he wrote. And unfortunately, it's not in our hymnal, but it's a really nice hymn tune. And the title comes from one of the mountains in Birmingham that he admired. And so he named the tune Shades Mountain. And this is a solo organ version, which uses the melody of that hymn as the basis for a little set of variations on the tune. It's really very melodic and enjoyable piece. And then we get to sing one of my very favorite hymns of the church here that we really only get to sing once a year, and that is hymn 282, Christ the Fair Glory of the Holy Angels. This hymn is really very specific to the Feast of St. Michael and all angels, and although it's, I think, one of the best hymns in the hymnal, we only really get to sing it once a year because it's very specific to that feast day. So that will be our processional hymn. Our offertory anthem is by the early 20th century English composer Ernest Bullock, and it's called Give Us the Wings of Faith. It's a really nice anthem suitable to any Saints' Day services. And Bullock was active, probably his heyday was in the 30s and 40s, 1930s and 40s. He was organist at Exeter Cathedral for a while and at Westminster Abbey for a while. Our postlude is by Charles Villiers Stanford, and it's simply entitled Postlude in D minor. Stanford, you'll see an awful lot of choir pieces that we sing by Stanford. He's frequently on the bulletin as a composer of anthems. We have an enormous amount of Stanford in the choir library. But he also wrote quite a bit of organ music. Much of it actually, though, is really dated sounding. It's not quite the level of quality in general that his choral music has maintained, but there are some real gems out there, and I think this, frankly, is one of his best solo organ compositions. He wrote 2 volumes with the sort of unassuming title 6 Short Preludes and Postludes, and there are 2 volumes of that, so it ends up being 12 short preludes and postludes, and this is actually the final one. But it's not exactly short. It's actually a very substantial piece. It's the most substantial of the 12. And it really, to my ears, is basically a first movement of a sonata or symphony for organ solo. It's very, very well written, very well developed. I hope you enjoy the music this Sunday.